The idea for The Legend of Buster Neal was born out of a conversation I overheard one Christmas. We had some younger cousins and some older uncles, and they seemed to be talking at each other and not to each other. It was like a disconnect. No one was hearing what the other said. And as I watched this, I thought it'd be a great idea, because I hadn't seen it very often, to put a cast of all men on stage, present them with an issue, a dilemma, a problem, and have them have to work it out together. And I wanted to recreate that conversation I'd overheard, older and younger generation. So when I came up with the idea, I was like, all right, I'm going to get this one family with representation from 5 different generations, put them on stage, put them in a situation that create a problem that needs to be resolved, and have only them, have them only themselves to rely on to resolve this problem. There is a real Buster Neal. People always ask that question. Buster Neal was an older gentleman who lived next door to my grandfather in Carville, Louisiana, and I just used to love hanging out with him. He was a very interesting guy. He carried a 6-gun shooter on his waist all the time, and he had been in the war. I can't remember which war, to be honest, but he had a ton of guns, just guns all over the house. And the first time I shot a gun was with him, and this very interesting guy, played in Negro Leagues, always had all these very interesting stories, and I just always thought his name was really cool. So when I was thinking about the play and I knew I wanted it to be these men working out issues, I thought, The Legend of Buster Neal, the title just popped in my head. And actually the opening scene of the play is a recount of a story that I had heard told growing up that involved Buster Neal and my grandfather. It had a slightly different outcome than what I've dramatized in the play, but that opening, the prologue to the play, is taken from an actual event that happened to Buster Neal and my grandfather.